Happy New Year 2025 for anyone tuning in on the Twitch side of things here. For anyone tuning in on the YouTube side of things, it's already been 2025 for a little while, or maybe even further than that, depending on how far in the future this is being watched. I believe this will be going up on January 6th. In real life, it is January 3rd. I am back from my time out of town. I got back on January 1st, and I did ye old tradition of starting the next Assassin's Creed playthrough on January 1st of every year, like I always do. And Odyssey took me almost all of last year and was a 280-part series on and off. So that was a little bit of craziness. So I'm really hoping that this next one, Valhalla, takes me nowhere near that long. I'm gonna bum rush the story objectives a lot quicker because now I know just how long those games can get, and holy crap. And I'm really starting to wonder if this series is gonna end up going above 100 parts. I really hope it doesn't. This is already, like, really long here. So I did that on January 1st, and then yesterday, January 2nd, I actually ended up starting a new playthrough. I started a new playthrough on January 1st as well, so I shouldn't say it like it's something completely new to January 2nd, but new playthrough of AC Valhalla started on January 1st, and January 2nd I started something new. I ended up starting Helldivers, which came out almost a full year ago. Well, Helldivers 2 to be more specific, not the first game. Because that ended up being gifted to me by family with the intention of playing it as a multiplayer game together with family. And I would have played it a little bit on my own time out of town to, like, get to understand what it's like, but I don't trust the internet out there, and there wasn't enough space on my laptop for it anyway, so yeah, I wasn't exactly gonna be playing around with that. So I was just like, oh, let's just do it, like, early on into the new year when I'm back here. And if I'm gonna be doing it anyway, I may as well stream it, and then, like, that it's content on my channel, I guess, in case anyone's interested in that. So I played about 4.5 hours of Helldivers 2. One of the few games I actually wanted to learn how to play with mouse and keyboard rather than controller so that I could actually aim better, considering it's a third-person shooter. And it was pretty fun. I was able to aim, like, a whole lot better than I ever can with controller. My left hand started to hurt a little bit towards the end, especially my pinky, like, holding so much shift to run was definitely the case. But I had fun. It was fun playing with friendos there. There was a lot of explosions, a lot of mayhem. It's not really a playthrough per se, it's just a PvE multiplayer game. There isn't really a strict endpoint. So, I don't know if I'd ever stream it again, if when I'm playing with family it'd just be on my own time, or whether I'd stream it. I don't know, but I streamed a little bit of it. I don't know how much of that will be in the future. I had fun. And then, to switch to something else after, I had, like, a few hours that I could put in for the night. And I was thinking about switching to this game, but I figured this game might be good as, like, a standalone stream kind of thing, because I don't know how much is left of this. And I instead switched over to Final Fantasy 16, because I could play through the first DLC, which I heard was only about 3 hours long. And it was only about 3 hours long. It was actually a really short DLC. And for $13.50 for, like, 3 hours of a DLC, it's, like, not all that much there. Also, was the lighting, like, off when I was initially coming down? It looked a little bit odd. It looks fine now that I'm here. But from afar, it looked a little bit odd for a second there. Jellyfish Island. What are we doing here again? It's been, like, a week and a half, couple weeks, something like that, since I last played. Since I was doing what I could before the holidays. And then I was away for a bit. Oh, and speaking of, I did go around to the different islands collecting the spark plugs that I could go and collect now that there's, like, the flower things open, and once I missed. Nice landing. Look at Jellyfish Island. I'm dying already. Everyone's free to come here and do whatever they want. Whatever they want? Can I mug you? You're looking for a Daphne? She'll probably be in the hall. Oh yeah, that's what's going on here. I remember now. Where it's like we needed Daphne's wits to figure out how to get into Zocket's lair, hideout, fortress, whatever the heck. Fortress, I'm pretty sure. Zocket Fortress it was called. To get into the hall, you'll need tickets from the owner. So by invitation only kind of thing. I'm sure your mission is important, but don't forget to enjoy yourselves. This is the perfect place to put aside all your cares and worries. I can put aside all the misgivings I've had with this game. I can purely just chill out. Let's go ahead and save here. Yeah, so last time I played was on the 29th of December. Just going around getting spark plugs. I'm now at 40.5 hours in this game. Wow. Also, what kind of plugs can I make? Yeah, that's probably pretty good there. And then every turn when the number reaches 0, bomb deals heavy damage to all enemies. So that could be another good freebie for against bosses. An item share using an item will affect the other bro as well while only consuming one item. I mean, I could just use boomerang items and use a max nut. So, is that what I'm thinking of? Yeah, a boomerang item so I don't use it. So this is like I would use it. I wonder if then this combined with boomerang items, you do something that affects one bro, and it affects both, and then you get an item back. Which I guess it would be good there, but yeah, with boomerang items, I don't feel as inclined to get it. It doesn't feel as important. Well, I can get all 3 of these super good ones, so I'm gonna do that. I think that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Then after I craft one of these things, I'll find out what the ultimate plug is. Whoops! I was pressing B to exit the menu. That's what I was doing here. And I saw on the map that there was some plugs over here, so don't mind me if I just give them a good old yoink. Maybe I'd be able to afford one of those things. Are we gonna get too far separated? I'm honestly surprised it didn't pull us together. I completely expected it to. I'm gonna have to bring it around town to get over to there. Candy. And I had a chill time out of town. It was nice to kind of take a bit of a step away from things, even though I was going pretty ham on, like, editing stuff for this channel. Well, yeah, I definitely see people pop in on the corners of the screen now that I'm looking for it. Now that I've been made aware of it here. Though, yeah, I was doing a lot of editing from remoting on my laptop into my desktop here, because this is where I have, like, all the space to be working on, like, the crazy projects and all my files and stuff stored. So, I worked on cutting things up into parts for, like, the week full of streams that I was doing before heading out of town. And I was doing work on a video essay that I started going really, really ham on when I was sick. Right after Hallowland, being the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 essay, which I talked about doing for, what, like 2 years now? Maybe a little bit more than 2 years? I was probably saying it since shortly after beating Xenoblade Chronicles 3 that I was gonna do it, and then I just never really had the chance to do it. So, finally got around to finishing that off. That was my secret in the, oh god, in my background project there. I watch a Xenoblade 3 video later, still a college class, yeah, that's one way to keep you busy. That's why I didn't get it made for a couple of years, is wrapping up university the last couple of years. It was a little bit of craziness. Time definitely be like that. And yeah, like my Pokemon ones, it's definitely a bit of a chonker. There's a lot of stuff there. Hope things are going well and that college is going alrighty. Here is their notes already. Hey, I'm a grumpy turnip of Jellyfish Island. You put a lot of soul into that pull. Now, look, I think I know what it is you're wanting to say. When a fella gets to be my age, he develops a nose for things. Plus, I can read your stashes. We're out here busting our buttons for this world, and what's this old geezer doing? Close, but the thing that I was actually thinking was, what is pretty much everyone else doing? Not just the old geezer. Because again, no one really seems to care much that we're reuniting the world. He's just hanging out, stuck in the ground, lazing around all day. It ain't fair. See? You didn't even have to say nothing. I can read it in the twitching of your bristly whiskers. Let that old fella get a word in edgewise, would you? No need to yammer on and on. I'm working for us all! You old grampy turnip buried in the ground? I'm just one small part of Concordia. Ever think maybe I'm actually doing something important while I'm stuck in the ground? Maybe having a long think before you judge a tuber by its cover, you know? That's definitely something that you could share as advice to a lot of people that see not just my Pokemon essays, but like my Xenoblade 3 one recently. Because while it's not exactly the norm, there are definitely some people that, as to be expected, go to a video like that, just a comment being like, I'm not gonna watch this, this sucks, I disagree with like your premise, and think that it disagrees with everything I have to say, so I'm just gonna think that this sucks. Anyway, there's a little lesson from the Jellyfish Island Grampy Turnip, keep it in mind. Now I got one more thing to say. What's a tough Grampy Turnip have in common with eating a mushroom while you're low on HP? It's gonna need to happen whether I like it or not. The answer is, both of them are super duper helpful. Heard that already? Sorry. Well, okay, and just to double check, I don't have any timed quests right now, right? Just double checking, just making extra sure here. Out of curiosity, what are my mushroom levels like? Ooh, I like that kind of sunsetty look back there. I'm sure it's just a PNG, but it looks nice. Looking for something to take all the time you need. I have 54 of these. Give me 30 more. Yeah, I'm good there then, I think. Yeah, that's a-okay. The Boo Biscuit does seem really OP, I still think. Here, step right up and check out the treasure trove of bargains. Oh, I do have a lot of coins, and this has got to be pretty darn close to the end of the game. So, I mean, higher defenses. Interesting. So there's bonus damage on top of that. Huh. Any damage an enemy reduces their power and defense by 10%. That is really good. Just saw an ad from a multi-billion-dollar company that clearly used an AI voice, and now I'm sad. What was it? Coca-Cola? How's it going today, Emerald Finder? That is actually really good. I probably don't need it right now. Am I gonna get wrecked? Is this like the final shot before the end of the game? It did, but kind of as like a shoehorned in extra thing at the end. Because the actual script that I wrote out 2 years ago, shortly after actually beating Xenoblade Chronicles 3, just covered the main game. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed wasn't out at that point. And I never actually wrote an essay on Future Redeemed content. So I was like, oh, well, now that I'm making this essay anyway, it'd be kind of sinful not to cover Future Redeemed. So I just watched a cutscene movie on YouTube to recap myself, and then went through some of the things that I wanted to discuss, but it was definitely nowhere near as in-depth as the main game stuff. So it was definitely a very shoehorned in part of the essay, you could say. A little bit of extra stuff that I tacked on, because it wouldn't be right to not cover it, I feel like. Good, how you doing today? Enjoying the best Mario game of the decade? I sure am. Bronze medallion. Politico Stefan earlier today sent me a message in the Discord server, or just dropped a video in the Discord server saying it's something that I think I would like. And it was, it looked like be about a half an hour discussion about Mario and Luigi Brothership being not all that great. And it's like, ooh, I am curious about what other people are saying here. And I want to check that out later. I didn't get the chance to today, but I'll check it out sometime later. Oh, that'll be convenient. When I was going around getting the spark plugs off camera, it really was ingrained to me that the islands that have multiple pipes all around, the icons are the same. There's no way to know which pipe you're going to. Of course, there's some little islets, whatever the pronunciation, that's the intention, is like the randomness of bouncing around. But when you're just trying to like save some time fast traveling around a big island, it's like, why would you have that? So trying to get the spark plugs on some of these islands, yeah, well, I was gonna hover over the islands and show that. It was a little bit difficult there. But yeah, anyway, I saw that there was that video there, but I figure I'm really close to the end, so I may as well watch it sometime after I've beaten the game. Express my own thoughts here. Not self-indulgent, but it's nice when you finish a game, don't enjoy it, and see videos and reviews from other people who didn't enjoy it. Feel a little bit validated in that way. I feel like it could also be the reverse for a lot of people. Ooh, I can craft a new thingamabob. Like, there's a lot of people that really don't like the idea of people not having the same experience as them, and I have very much found that so far with with some of the comments on my Xenoblade Chronicles 3 essay. But one really cool thing about a lot of the comments on the Xenoblade 3 essay is a lot of people that disagree actually explain why and go in depth and use examples from the game, like actually form real counter arguments instead of just being like, you were bad, you suck, like is more common on my Pokemon essays. So I think across Xenoblade and Pokemon, there is a very different demographic that plays it on average. And so I'm experiencing a lot better discourse with this, is what I found so far. Like, it might be a little bit too early to say because it's only been out for 3 days, but it's actually genuinely really refreshing to see people like genuinely coming up with real counter arguments and wanting to have like a discussion out of it. I love that. I don't know. Sure, flying, that might be a little bit more common there. Also love it when there's a game I really like to see reviews that point out flaws I overlooked and get me out of the echo chamber. And yeah, there's a lot of people that have also commented being like, hey, I get what you're saying, like, the stuff that you're saying here makes sense, these are flaws, but I still really enjoyed it. And I respond to all as being like, yeah, that's fair, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it too, like, maybe not to the same extent then, but, like, I genuinely like the game as well. When your regular turn ends, grants you 1 extra turn. Regular turn? Hello, Mythic, I'm doing pretty alright. So, regular turn, does that just mean, like, jump or hammer? What's a regular turn? Is that, like, anything? If that's anything, that's really strong. Even if it's just, like, jump or hammer, that'd still be pretty strong there. And with your Pokemon Sword and Shield essay video, love those games and didn't see any problems until I saw your essay and I was like, oh yeah, that stuff did happen, didn't it? Yeah, and it can be really good to, like, get different perspectives and listen to different ideas. I love seeing video essays about, like, premises that I disagree on and be able to consider things in new ways that I haven't considered before. I think that that's something really cool on the internet where you can be exposed to so many different ideas. A lot of people really don't like that though. this is probably the most one of my video essays has ever snowballed, like, right after dropping it. So it has, no, as of, it's 7:20 right now, so it's been out for almost exactly 3 days now. And already there seems to be at least 2 very long Twitter threads of people discussing my video essay, most of which have not seen it, more so just like replying to the initial poster of each thread. But it's actually kind of interesting that like I seem to be getting a bunch of attention there, interestingly enough. So like Sword and Shield, but more aware of its flaws now. Yeah, Sword and Shield was very much a mixed bag for me. I think it was kind of like X and Y in that it was a very average Pokemon game, like in that I think that there are some things that are inherently flawed, like the whole thingamabob with like the national dex and finding ways to like monetize it more and stuff like that. But I don't think that it was like outwardly a terrible game. It was just like, yeah, that's okay, is kind of what I felt like gameplay experience wise. Like I never despised Sword and Shield. I kind of despised Scarlet and Violet a little bit because of how they felt like it was okay to release such a buggy, unoptimized mess and just get away with it because they're the biggest brand. So that one kind of genuinely pisses me off that they can get away with that. But I don't know. I don't think that any of them have really ticked me off all that much. But do definitely find some flaws with some things. So I'd have to ask, but you got tickets? No one gets in the hall without a ticket. You can get tickets from this island's owner, if you can impress the guy. But he's not inside the hall, I'll tell you that. Go look for him somewhere else. So should I look for someone that looks important, or what am I doing here? Sword and Shield are the last games you liked in the franchise, fair enough. Wah. And yeah, whenever people tell me that, like, they really like something like Scarlet and Violet, I'm like, great, I'm glad you were able to find enjoyment with it. And that's very much the case with Xenoblade 3. I took a little bit of a different approach with the essay in terms of like how it's portrayed. Like a lot of my previous video essays, I've tried to do like some sort of cool art that makes it stand out, like I did with Kieran in my Scarlet and Violet DLC video essay. But that didn't really go much of anywhere. So I took a very different approach for this video essay here. But yeah, Scarlet and Violet view is just disrespectful. Yeah, I feel like anybody that puts out a game in that kind of state, it is kind of disrespectful of just like, hey, pump it out, make money now, fix it later if there's enough demand for it to be fixed. Like, Scarlet and Violet is far from the only game in the industry that has pulled that kind of thing. Scarlet and Violet lost me when the first route had a bird with attack stat equal to Entei. It did? Was that the hold on. I know that this was discussed in a previous stream. This sounds familiar now. Was it Fulmigo that had a attack stat equal to Entei? Or was this a different bird here? Because I can't imagine that one being on Route 1 there. Okay, yeah, it's Fulmigo. Had to intentionally stop using it to have fun. If you need to go out of your way to nerf yourself to enjoy a game, it's not balanced. Yeah, and I know that like Pokemon's also in a bit of a weird place because they have to consider their competitive scene, which I really know basically nothing about. But anyway, the approach that I took with the Xenoblade 3 thumbnail, I want something that grabs your attention and makes you think like, huh, I really wonder what kind of arguments this is going to go into. So I don't think it's a bad game at all. So I decide to put it in a little bit of a humbling position, but comparatively. The title that I gave it was the weakest entry in the series, which is a little, like, in terms of the story, which is a little bit disingenuous because I feel like X is worse, but series as in, like, trilogy in that sense, and I kind of treat X as a separate entity, because it is almost like a separate entity, and maybe it'll get pulled into the overall story sometime later, but it isn't yet. I mean, 3 DLC confirmed it was canon, but it's not like a big part of the picture yet here. Anyway, but I couldn't just have my title be like the second weakest in the series. So you could say that I'm one of those YouTubers that now lies in their titles in that sense, but like barely is the case there. And then the thumbnail, I wanted to express that like it is a good game, but like when you really delve into it, I feel like it kind of falls apart. So I expressed that with the thumbnail by having like the big text of "it's good" and then in brackets "if you don't think about it," and taking a little bit of artistic liberty in making the text be the same colors as the title of Xenoblade 3, and then the word that I want to emphasize being the red of the 3 in Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I was like, oh, that'll probably pop, and then just having the background be like a generic Xenoblade Chronicles 3 background so that you know exactly what it's talking about. So instead of me taking time to literally draw out like a really cool looking and fitting pose that like one of the characters is in of the games, like I did with Kieran for Xenoblade Chronicles 3, like I did with Koraidon for Xenoblade Chronicles 3, for Scarlet and Violet DLC, like I did with Koraidon for the friggin' main game essay of that, like I did for Dawn for my BDSP essay, and like someone else commissioned did for me for the Legends Arceus essay. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna try like a very different YouTuber approach to this one. And I'm just gonna have like big text on the screen that grabs your attention and, oh, there's a hidden block over there, and is a form of the premise while the title kind of elaborates on the premise. Like, there are two different core ideas that are discussed in the essay, both of which are meant to like intrigue you and grab interest and stuff like that. And I think, again, it might be too early to say, it's only been out for 3 days, but I think it worked. Like, it's very quickly snowballing. Like, I'm very, very surprised here. So it's like, oh, maybe that's the approach to go. Maybe that's the thing that like grabs people's attention. And again, just like with the Pokemon essays, there's a lot of people that will take it at face value alone and make assumptions on it. One of the threads that I was reading on my video was one person that posted like a picture of my video and put a caption like saying that it's wrong, essentially, that it gets better the more you think about it, actually, and then elaborate in the follow-up response saying, I didn't actually watch the video because I'm sure I already know everything to say about it, or everything that could possibly be in that video. And it's like, really? You're really gonna tell me that I'm wrong? And like parade that around without actually taking the time to hear what I have to say? They later did take time to actually watch it and then form counter arguments in the later parts of the thread, so I appreciate that I did actually take the time to look at it, because I really don't like when people make assumptions based on like face value. But I've definitely noticed that a decent smidge, both with like replies to a couple Twitter threads that my video is continuing to be discussed in, interestingly enough, and in the comments to that. But most of the kinds of comments that I get are usually people explaining why they like or dislike the game. And it's a lot more thorough and in-depth than any of my Pokemon essays. I feel like you scroll through the comments on my Pokemon essays, and you just get, like, generic kind of Twitter jumble of stuff that is just like, wow, this isn't really saying anything. But you scroll through the comments of my Xenoblade 3 video essay, and it's like, okay, people are actually saying things and making counter-arguments, and that's really cool. Like, actually rebuting specific points of mine, and it's like, wow. Why can't this happen with more of my videos? I love discussion. I love it when people disagree and are willing to discuss the reasons why. What I don't like is when people judge at face value or just say, like, you're wrong and don't give any reason why. I want to have discussions. That's why I like. So it's like, huh, maybe I should be criticizing more games that have, like, a little bit of an older main demographic playing them. Maybe. I don't know. and then I get better responses. I don't know. But it's really interesting to see, honestly. But yeah, let's see here. Sword and Shield had a good competitive scene. Lack of national decks actually balanced it and made it fun. Interesting. Scarlet and Violet added in some insane power creep that resulted in like 10 Pokemon actually being used in competitive. I heard that the moment Incineroar was added to the game that things really got shook up. And hello, Adora Master. Power creep has always existed, but goddamn have the recent games snowballed it. Again, I know nothing really about the competitive scene, but I've heard that Incineroar is quite the menace. Incineroar and Urshifu. Apparently Urshifu is one of those things where it's like you're shooting yourself in the foot if you're not using it, is what I've heard. It's been a minute. Give me those stashes nice and glossy, I see. I bet you're the one in charge here. Glad you two are doing okay, but with all the chaos going on. Chaos? What's the chaos going on? No time long see. Long time no what? Why can't I words? Yeah, long time no. Wait a sec. How do you guys get here? Man, I struggle to read sometimes. I'm Groove Master Diode, remember? I shine brightest in times of trouble. A measly ocean's not gonna get between me and entertaining people. Wait. So I guess other people do have access to ships. So maybe that's one of the reasons why people haven't been all that upset about the islands being separated. It's just a bit more work to get around. I mean, that would still really destroy the economy, but we paddled the raft for 3 days and nights. Almost got lost, but we barely made it. Okay, well, there's rafts, but maybe not necessarily ships. Did you know Gallon had finally had a revelation on the raft? The world's greatest groove, a surefire crowd pleaser. A routine so complicated even I had given up. It's called the, well, tuned Diode Groove. Tune doesn't really rhyme with groove, but we'll let that slide. Cloud has been trying for many, many years to finish this routine. He wants you to dance with him to put the finishing touches on it. Let me sweeten the pot. Dance with me, and I'll give you tickets to the hall. Oh, so an excuse to have the dancing minigame again. You'll dance with my precious dial groove, won't you? Pretty please. Here's one, thinking about Scarlet and Violet, here's one way that this game is definitely better than Scarlet and Violet. That little quick time event dancing / pose minigame thingamabob. It isn't great in this game, but it's so much better than Scarlet and Violet's one. Cue the music, get down! Okay, I might have to read this in a hot second, because I gotta do this really quickly. And the animations for Mario and Luigi are really charming, but in Scarlet and Violet, they're really robotic for the equivalent game. I love how everyone freezes in Scarlet and Violet whenever you're putting in action. Whoa. Or you keep spamming an action. The fact that you can hit it multiple times. There, I did the thing. Wow. Was that not good enough? Wait. No. You can do better. Do it again from the top and put your back into it this time. Okay. Cue the music. Get down. All right. I'm bad at video games. I don't know what to tell you. Okay. Just get a sense of the rhythm. Don't be talking over it as much and throwing off my rhythm. Is the key here. I say as I continue to talk. I can't help myself. There, potential thumbnail right there. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, let's see here. Twitch censored the words insane and creep. I've left the censorship on because it amuses me. I want to share how absurd it is. What, so it like puts it in quotations? What do you mean Twitch censors it? There's a ridiculous Pokemon called Goldengo, the one that's like really annoying to evolve into Goldengo, right? It ruined competitive. It did. The Cheese String Man. They made it a Ghost and Steel type with an exclusive ability that makes it immune to status effects. Oh, that does sound strong on paper. Like, I don't know any of its stats, but at face value, that does sound strong. I'm a casual player, and even I noticed it. Goldenga is balanced and casual because of the requirements to get. Need 999 Gimmighoul coins. Yeah, which is pretty insane. I'd argue Palafin also ruined things. I think I heard early on that I heard about people using Palafin a decent bit. I don't know what it's like nowadays. Nowadays, the things I hear about are like Incineroar or Shifu. So, I don't know. Goldengo has higher special attack than Latios. Oh yeah, that's the stuff, baby. The Dial Groove. It went just like I pictured. And a base 120 power exclusive steel type move. Wow. Yeah, I can tell that that's definitely strong there. My life's work is complete. I have no regrets at all. Oh, is he ready to retire? Has my time come at last? I'm ready to dig in and be the next Groove Master. Oh, like when Adora Master said power creep, it showed up as power that, and that shows up as purple and clickable. It tells me it was censored. As if I want to view it anyway. Yes, and it asks if it was censored correctly. Obviously, I said no. Oh, interesting. Because I don't see that in, like, the chat that I read from. It's kind of funny, though, that it censors that. I know that Twitch is, like, really, really funny when it comes to the things that they don't want people saying. Like when they banned simp a while back, where a lot of people really didn't understand what it meant. They just were banning it in, like, the context of using it to, like, harass, be mean to somebody, and, like, call someone directly it as, like, a directly negative kind of thing. Like, just like using any other kind of negative word that you could call someone, like, idiot, or other words that are negative. I don't know. I don't I don't call people negative words, so I don't really have stuff come to mind super easily, but, like, it's just one of those kinds of things there. But yeah, to be fair, some people need to be called simp. Yeah, I agree. And yeah, Twitch clearly didn't ban it. You can see that, like, simp is being said there. But when the announcement first came out, people were like, what? Twitch has gone too far. They're banning the word simp. And it's like, not really, but they are also treating it a bit harsher than normal words. The fact that, like, creep is being censored. Maybe Mythic just has, like, parental controls on or something here. Maybe what's going on. I don't know. Sorry, Mythic. Just made some dumb decisions. Oh yeah, agreed. I mean, what am I talking about? Twitch is a perfect platform with no issues whatsoever. Hey, Emmett! Yes, Groove Master? I just came up with a new routine. It's the first page in the next volume of the Grand Diode of Diode. That's all he meant? Shake a leg, Emmett. Our new journey begins now. Let's groove. Well, apparently you're allowed to do whatever you want on this island, so nothing's stopping you from killing him and taking his place as a crew master. These tickets will get you into the hall. Show them to the bouncer at the door. Enjoy Club Diode. Got the Club Diode tickets. Groove Master, wait for me! I mean, if you're concerned about needing help hiding a body, I mean... I'm sure we're continuing to... I was about to say continuing to look for work here, but I actually have a lot of coins, so I guess we wouldn't really be. But yeah, never changed my censorship settings, so it defaulted to this. Interesting. Maybe I should just start spam saying creep, and then Twitch is gonna like flag my content as a as something that is gonna be a mature content, 18+ stream. One of those ones that you have to click yes, I'm 18+ before you watch a stream. So what my stream is gonna have to become here in due time. What's up? Sorry, I have to ask, but you got tickets? Look at that! I keep on thinking that the sound of their overalls moving is very much the Minecraft wool sound. Yep, everything's in order here. Welcome to Club Diode. And maybe it is. There's a lot of games that use sound effects from, like, other games slash a general library where different games use similar sound effects. Like, the sound effect of the door opening in Dead by Daylight. I've heard that sound in a decent handful of other video games. Or the sound that, Dialga makes in the movie Rise of Darkrai, that roar. I've seen it used for so many different creatures in different video games. Most recent example being Jabu Jabu from Legend of Zelda. Echoes of Wisdom, I forgot the name of it for a second there. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was actually the Minecraft will sound. Yeah, or the RCT screams in amusement park commercials. Man, I hear the RCT screams all the time. If I ever make a video game that I release to the public, I should put in the RCT screams. The vibe inside is choice today. Enjoy. In fact, I don't think a video game is complete without the RCT screams. This game's a 0 out of 10 because it didn't have RCT screams. It would have made it so much better, I think. In my humble opinion.